to have launched at least one missile, and it believes it could be heading toward Japan. We have been showing you this footage of light, a red light, possibly projectile exploding midair in North Korea. And again, this footage was taken from a camera on the Chinese side of the border. And we are going to looking at many of these footages over and over from 10:40 p.m. Japan time, about 20 minutes ago. Now, again, I repeat that this is the 11th time the Japanese government has triggered the J Alert warning system for a North Korean launch. The very first was in 2012. The last time that we had a J Alert warning was back in November, when Pyongyang launched a so-called military reconnaissance satellite, and it had previously failed to do so in May and August last year. That satellite flew over Japan's southern prefecture of Okinawa, and here today on Monday evening, we are having the J Alert system activated once again. And at the end of early Monday morning, Pyongyang had notified the Japan Coast Guard that it's preparing to launch a satellite between Monday and next Monday during this week. And it had made that announcement, but it seems that since the J Alert system has been activated, North Korea has launched what appears to be one missile. And again, this is footage from about 20 minutes ago, a camera from the Chinese border side taking this objectile, possibly exploding mid-air in North Korea's mid-air. Now, if we focus back on the previous failed launches out of North Korea, there were unusual circumstances around that launch. And North Korea originally said it would launch the satellite after the 22nd of November, but fired the rocket a day early. Now, this time it is within the time frame that North Korea had announced, between May 27th and June 3rd. Now, experts say the earlier launch by North Korea was likely trying to avoid being surveilled by its neighbors. We are getting some more information from South Korea saying that North Korea launched what looks like a projectile to the southward, and that was at about 10:56 p.m. So about 5 minutes ago, South Korea had made that announcement saying, again, North Korea fired a projectile towards the south. And at about 10:45 p.m., we are continuing showing you footage about this red spark mid-air. And this was taken at about 10:45, about 15 minutes ago. And I've been telling you that it's been from the Chinese border. It's the northeastern Chinese province, and NHK's camera has been taking this footage. And this is that orange reddish light being mid-air for about a little more than 10 seconds. And you can see right in the middle of the screen this yellow orangish possible projectile disappearing in mid-air after flying for about over 10 seconds. And yes, this orange light goes up in the air and then explodes all of a sudden, and then disappears into the air. Again, this is the J Alert system announced by the Japanese government just about 20 minutes ago. And the government is warning North Korea appears to have launched at least one missile. And it had said that it believed it could be heading toward Japan. And the J Alert system was announced for people in Okinawa Prefecture, urging the people there to take shelter immediately. And we have been bringing you some information from some of the islands in Okinawa that were under that J Alert system. Again, the bottom right of your screen, you can see highlighted in yellow are the areas of the islands of Okinawa Prefecture in southern Japan. And these are the areas that are still under a J alert by the Japanese government. Once again, if this alert is still in effect, people in these areas, Okinawa Prefecture, you should take shelter immediately. Once again, people in Okinawa Prefecture, take shelter right away. Head inside a building, a subway station, or other underground facility, and once you get inside, make sure you get far away as possible from any windows or other openings. Again, take shelter immediately, and once you've done so, stay put until you hear otherwise. Once again, this J alert system is being issued through the Japan emergency system and informs people about emergencies in the nation. Now, this is footage right here taken at about 10:40 p.m. Japan time, and this is from the Chinese border side. And yes, we now have an update on the situation. We have an update on the situation, and the Japanese government has now lifted its evacuation alert, the J alert, saying a North Korean missile is not expected to fly toward Japan. Once again, this is an update. The Japanese government has lifted its evacuation alert just right now, saying a North Korean missile is not expected to fly toward the country. So people in Okinawa Prefecture, you are no longer being advised to stay indoors. You do not need to take shelter after the J alert system has been lifted. The Japanese government is still urging people to follow any instructions from authorities. Make sure you get the latest updates on your smartphones, any source of information. Make sure you continue to check for that as much as possible. Again, we have this update. The Japanese government has lifted the evacuation alert for areas in Okinawa Prefecture that were under a J alert. The government says a North Korean missile is not expected to fly toward Japan, and people are no longer being advised to stay indoors. You are looking at NHK's domestic broadcast, and again, it is repeating that the J alert system, the evacuation alert, has been lifted just about a minute ago, and a North Korean missile is not expected to fly toward Japan. And we are continuing to show you footage taken from the Chinese side of North Korea. And this video was taken by an NHK camera of the Chinese side of the border with North Korea at around 10:45 p.m. You can see it shows what appears to be an orange dot moving in the center of the screen. You don't see it now. We're zooming it up on the situation. And yes, shortly after, the orange dot shows some orange flames rising violently in what appears to be an explosion. Now, this comes after North Korea possibly launched a missile just about minutes ago from this explosion. Again, this video was taken by an NHK camera from the Chinese side of the North Korean border at about 10:45 p.m. And that's about over 20 minutes ago. And yes, you see this orange yellowish dot moving upwards in the center of the screen. But then shortly after, it explodes. We can see these orange flames rising violently all of a sudden, and it appears to be an explosion. Once again, if you're just joining us, we have an update on the J alert system situation, and the Japanese government has lifted its evacuation alert for Okinawa Prefecture, and it says a North Korean missile is not expected to fly toward Japan. Once again, a North Korean missile is not expected to fly toward the country, and people in Okinawa Prefecture, at the bottom right of your screen, the highlighted yellow areas are still being highlighted on your screen, but people there are no longer advised to stay indoors. You do not need to take shelter, but what you need to do now is follow any instructions from the local authorities. Make sure you get the latest information from your smartphones, your PCs, your tablets, and make sure you get more information. There could be debris following, and you're looking at the situation now. Of course, we're just told that it is not moving toward Japan at the moment, but continue to follow any instructions from the local authorities. Once again, this video was taken by an NHK camera from the Chinese side of the North Korean border at 10:45 p.m. This dot moves upward and it keeps on flying for about 10 seconds or so. And then we see an explosion, what appears to be an explosion, and you can see some orange flames in the air, mid-air. We will continue to bring you the latest on the situation, but the Japanese government has lifted the J alert evacuation alert, saying North Korean missile is not expected to fly toward the country. People in Okinawa Prefecture were under an evacuation alert, but you do not need to stay indoors anymore, but you are told to follow any instructions from local Okinawan authorities to get the latest information. We are getting some information earlier from South Korea saying that North Korea has fired a projectile southward at about 10:56 p.m. We'll continue to bring this to you with simultaneous interpretation.
And well, the launch happened after the meeting today. And last November, the Ministry of Defense was prepared because they learned a lesson from last November. Yeah, North Korea is planning on 3 launches. They do have this ambition, and they're likely to go ahead with another launch. And we don't know. They are still, the government is still analyzing whether North Korea is using, or its satellite is doing what it's supposed to be doing. This time, it is possible that this was a failure, and this kind of a launch, the government is going to gather information about this kind of a launch. Now we are showing this same picture. Now, this is the liquid fuel. Looks like it exploded, it burned. And it's and the U.S. think tank analyzed the data, and they said there was some kind of problem with this, and they have been experimenting with this same fuel, and we still don't know why. That's the reason why this time it failed, or we don't even know whether it failed or not. Now, Defense Ministry officials said it's possible that it was fuel burning. It's a picture of fuel burning, but we don't. They are still making sure. Mr. Kawai, a reporter, we're going to ask him. I'm in the office of prefecture, and 3:11, missile that was launched is not going to come to our land. That information we received. And 3 people have been taking care of this incident, and that's all from Okinawa Prefecture Government Building.
今日午後10時43分頃
10:43 p.m. Excuse me, 10:46. The Japanese government first issued the J alert, and a while ago they gave the information that it's not likely to come to Japan. This is the live picture of Miyakojima, Okinawa Prefecture, and the whole area of Okinawa. A J alert was issued, and 10:46 J alert was issued saying a missile was launched, but a little after 11 it's not going to come to Japan. It's not going to reach Japan. Now, we're going to talk to Mr. Koda. Can you hear us? Can you hear me? Thank you for answering our questions. Now, we've been telling about the. Did you get any information about our picture? Yes. What can you make out of it? It looks like it was not able to fly in a normal way. Does it mean it was a failure? Well, it's safe to say that they failed. Last November, they succeeded. They claimed they succeeded. And ever since, what can you say about their progress? There were two failures prior to that. And the second stage or third stage failure, at that time they said, they tried to find the cause, but it's possible that they were not able to nail it. And when something like this happens, you have to improve the quality of parts, and you have to improve the level of people involved. And but it's not something easy. So probably that's why they failed this time. What do you think about the schedule? Like 3 launches. Last November, they had the success, and this time they wanted to make it succeed, of course, but
we continue to bring you information about the launch, expected launch from North Korea. And on the Japanese broadcast of NHK, we are showing you, we're getting words from an expert for his take on the launch from Pyongyang. And we are continuing to show you footage from an NHK camera from the Chinese side of the North Korean border at around 10:45 p.m. And again, it shows what appears to be an orange dot that moves up for a couple of seconds. And then, shortly after, showing orange flames that rise violently in the sky in what appears to be an explosion. Now, if you're just joining us, the Japanese government has earlier lifted the evacuation alert for people in Okinawa Prefecture, saying a North Korean missile is not expected to fly toward the country. So people in Okinawa Prefecture no longer are being advised to stay indoors. But the government is still urging people in the area to follow any instructions from authorities. Make sure you get the latest information from your smartphone, tablets, or PCs as much as possible, because as authorities will be bringing you the latest instructions as well. Now, we are getting more information about the situation from police headquarters in Okinawa, and just after 11 p.m. Japan time, they said that there are no reports of damage or any casualties. Also, from the Japan Coast Guard, they're saying that they have seen no damage to vessels in the area in so far, and they're continuing to investigate for any damages that may have occurred because of this latest provocation from North Korea. The Japan Coast Guard also is in charge of the area, say there are no damages from fallen debris that were detected just after 11 p.m. Japan time. Once again, the J Alert emergency alert system has been lifted about 15 minutes ago, and saying that a North Korean missile is not expected to fly toward Japan, and people are no longer being advised to stay indoors. Once again, the government is not advising people in Okinawa prefectures to stay indoors after the J Alert system has been lifted. But the government is urging people to continue following instructions from authorities. Now, you are looking at the Japanese NHK broadcast, but if you're just joining us, we have the Japanese government lifting an evacuation alert after a North Korean missile is not expected, saying that it's not expected to fly toward Japan. Now, this is the 11th time the Japanese government has triggered the J Alert warning system for a North Korean launch, and the very first was in 2012. Now, this frequency has been increasing in recent years, with 4 alerts issued in 2023 alone. Now, the last warning was in November, and that was when Pyongyang launched a so-called military reconnaissance satellite. It had previously failed to do so in May and August of 2023, and that satellite flew over Japan's southern prefecture of Okinawa. The launch on Monday night, the Japanese government has lifted an order for people in Okinawa not advising them to stay indoors anymore, after they have decided that there will be no projectile flying over Okinawa Prefecture as it did so in November. Now, back in November, there were some unusual circumstances, because North Korea originally said it would launch the satellite after that 22nd, but fired the rocket a day earlier in November. Experts say North Korea was likely trying to avoid being surveilled by its neighbors. Now, earlier on Monday morning, North Korea had notified Japan's Coast Guard, saying that it'll launch satellite within the next week, within the time frame of a week, and it did so here on Monday night. You can see that possible launch, an orange dot going up in the air for about 10 seconds or so, and then later the orange yellowish light exploding in mid-air. Now, this was taken from the Chinese side of the North Korean border. We'll continue with some interpretation.
There are 2 possibilities. One, there is something political, for some political reason. There was a trilateral meeting, and the other reason is, while preparing for this launch, they had some technical problem, and in order to work on it, it took them this much time to work on it, and but they were not able to overcome the problem, solve the problem, and that's another possibility. They're planning on 3 launches. We have 3 months left this year, and what do you think is going to happen? Well, probably. The second one, they wanted to launch much sooner, and this time they failed. So it will be. It seems like it's going to be very difficult for them to do 3 more launches. And they would have to make a preparation in such a short space of time. I suppose that they still would like to do that. Now, this kind of information, this picture was captured. What do you think their reaction would be like? If this was a failure, they are likely to say it was a failure. And I don't know if they're going to give detailed information, but one way or another, they're going to explain why or how it failed this time. Professor Hiraiwa, thank you very much. Thank you. We are watching what happened around 10:40, a little after 10:40, and it looks like something exploded, and we can see the smoke. Now, then we're going to have the reporter from Seoul.
韓国軍の合同参謀本部は北朝鮮から南方向に向けて飛翔体を発射したと今日午後10時56分に発表しました。
At 10:56, South Korea military said North Korea launched something at 10:56. And I was 5 minutes away from the our office. I didn't see anything unusual among Seoul citizens. Now, South Korea is also trying to analyze what happened. And there was some information that North Korea put up a screen to maybe hinder what's going on, what they are doing. And also, it seems like there was a delay in launch. And near Tonchari, they detected some activity. In Seoul, there was a trilateral meeting after 4 years of hiatus. And there's a condemnation saying what they did is against the international law. Now, this is supposed to show that they do have the strength to respond, to fight back. That's all from Seoul.
政府関係者からの情報が入ってきました。
There's some information from the Japanese
北朝鮮から
government.
発射されたものはレーダーから消えたということで失
And,
敗したとみられるということです。
What was launched in North Korea, from North Korea, vanished from radar. So apparently, it was a failure. That's what government officials said.
We have been showing you footage from Seoul after the projectile from North Korea that apparently exploded in mid-air. Now, the Japanese government had issued its J alert emergency evacuation alert earlier on Monday night, but that's been lifted for Okinawa Prefecture after the Japanese government said that a North Korean missile is not expected to fly toward Japan. So people in Okinawa Prefecture are no longer being advised to stay indoors. But again, I continue to tell you that people in Okinawa should update the situation, get the latest updates on their smartphones, tablets, or PCs as much as possible. You're continuing to look at the situation from this NHK camera that took the explosion, the suspected explosion, at about 10:45 p.m. Japan time. Now, again, the NHK camera took this from the Chinese side of the border, and it shows what appears to be an orange dot now exploding in mid-air here. It had a little orange dot at the beginning, moving upwards toward the sky, but shortly after, showing orange flames rising violently in what appears to be an explosion. Now, on NHK's Japanese broadcast, you are looking at a reporter from Washington about the reaction on the U.S. side. But we will continue to bring you the latest updates on NHK World Japan, so please make sure you stay with us. Once again, the Japanese government has lifted the evacuation alert, the J alert that has been placed, saying a North Korean missile is not expected to fly toward the country. People in Okinawa Prefecture in southern Japan are no longer being advised to stay indoors. Stay tuned, we'll keep you updated.
Join us as we explore medical frontiers. The leading cause of death worldwide is heart disease. This includes myocardial infarction, commonly known as a heart attack, and angina, a condition characterized by severe chest pain. These diseases are mainly due to the narrowing and blockage of the heart's blood vessels. Blood vessel abnormalities can progress unnoticed and develop into diseases that strike unexpectedly.
This small device is inserted into the blood vessels to identify the cause of heart attacks in a technique known as intravascular imaging. And today we'll explore the efforts of doctors working to prevent and treat heart disease by detecting high-risk conditions within blood vessels at an early stage.
Juntendo University Hospital is a leading medical institution in Japan. It conducts over 2,000 cardiac catheter examinations and surgeries each year. A man in his 70s who complained of chest pain was diagnosed with angina. The condition occurred due to narrowing in a section of his left coronary artery, leading to insufficient oxygen reaching his heart muscle. The main cause of blood vessel narrowing is atherosclerotic plaque. This plaque forms when substances such as LDL cholesterol build up in the blood vessel walls, creating deposits that narrow the blood vessels and slow down blood flow. If a plaque ruptures, it can cause thrombosis, which may lead to a heart attack or other life-threatening disease. To treat this, a catheter procedure is performed to widen the narrowed blood vessel. A tube with a diameter of several millimeters, called a catheter, is inserted into the blood vessel through the thigh or the wrist. Then, another tube called a stent is placed in the narrowed part of the blood vessel to widen it. The typical recurrence rate for heart conditions is about 5 to 15%. But a report from Australia shows that about 50% of patients in the Asia-Pacific region are hospitalized again within a year. These recurrences are caused by plaques that went unnoticed during surgery.
Dr. Dohi, thank you so much for your time today. It's a great pleasure to meet you. 今日よろしくお願いします。
こんにちは、エリカさん。
Dohi Tomotaka is a cardiologist at Juntendo University Hospital. For over a decade, Dohi has been researching ways to accurately assess plaques using intravascular imaging in order to prevent heart disease.
I would imagine it's still a big challenge in terms of treatment of heart attacks.
我々は冠動脈のプラークを見て、不安定度を測定するという試みをしております。不安定プラークというのは心筋梗塞や不安定狭心症もしくは突然死を引き起こすプラークのことを総称です。
Japanese medical equipment maker is now proving effective in this regard. It's an intravascular imaging system called NIRS-IVUS, which combines near-infrared spectroscopy with intravascular ultrasound. The NIRS-IVUS system is attached to the tip of a catheter. It has two functions. The IVUS technology uses ultrasound to visualize the internal structure of a blood vessel, enabling identification of plaque location and size. It has been in use for some time. The NIRS technology provides a better understanding of the quality and quantity of lipids in a plaque. By combining these two technologies, doctors can more accurately identify vulnerable plaques.
イメージングやります。
First, Dohi and his team use ultrasound images to find plaques in the coronary arteries. This is an ultrasound image of the inside of a blood vessel, captured by IVUS. The area circled in blue is the entire blood vessel. The red part inside it is the inner cavity where blood flows. The surrounding area, shown in yellow, is where plaque is present. While the ultrasound from IVUS can spot suspicious plaques, it cannot diagnose whether they are vulnerable.
ここから病変だね。ここもそれなりですね。その病変だけど狭窄度は強くない。
For imaging, they notice a shift from red to yellow in a certain area.
むしろこっちの方が少し黄色く。
The vulnerability index is 475. Since it exceeds the standard of 400, it's classified as a vulnerable plaque.
今回一番狭いところよりも少し手前側にあって。
The vulnerable plaque was found very close to the narrowest point, where a lesion causing angina was located. Therefore, Dohi decided to extend the stent by an extra centimeter to reach both the plaque and the lesion.
これはイメージングがもしなかったら、
もう少し短いステントを選択した可能性はあって、一番狭いところよりも手前側までしっかり治療するというところが今回この血管内イメージングを使って分かった。
Following the procedure, the patient no longer feels chest pain and is recovering well. This man in his 60s suffered sudden chest pain 6 years ago.
正直、俺もしかしてここで死ぬのかなと、もうそういう恐怖を感じましたね。
He had developed acute coronary syndrome. His coronary arteries had narrowed, putting him at risk of myocardial infarction. He underwent a stent procedure. Intravascular imaging revealed the presence of a vulnerable plaque in a different location. The vulnerability index for this plaque was 422, exceeding the standard value of 400. This vulnerable plaque was found in a different area than the narrowed section of the coronary artery. In addition, the blood vessel didn't show significant narrowing. It would have been difficult to diagnose this case using only CT imaging.